reaction to that.
I have never heard someone call it GenCon. It's
They get murdered immediately.
Yeah, I was gonna say the amount sometimes I go to cons and stuff, and people always pronounce it there's always a couple people, and then you just have people just looking at them just stop, just shh, sweet child.
I'm trying to remember. Lloyd, who's from London, came out here, and then decided to go to Gen Con, and he pronounced something off. I remember I teased him for it because, as Americans, we've got English right.
Yeah, that's your fucking job, I guess.
But he also listed off the huge amount, con season. He goes to a bunch of the cons and runs, stuff, games on demand and stuff. It's a shit ton of them all in a short period of time, all fairly close, comparatively.
In England or just all over?
I mean, he goes to Ireland, too.
Yeah, there is, I did have a look, because I have friends who do recordings there, and record stuff there, and it's here's the list of cons that we're going to be, and it is as long as your fucking arm in the shortest fucking time frame. And they're all super not all of them, but a lot of them are super indie, started off by 5 people, but it's the stuff they're interested in are niche enough that people are excited to go to. And I was that's super fucking cool.
Nice.
Comparatively, everything's a little bit closer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, people can just go to fucking any of them because it's 3 hours on a train from one side to the other.
Yeah. I drive 3 hours here. I'm either just outside of Illinois in a little bit of Wisconsin or Michigan, or I'm not yet all the way south.
I was gonna say, isn't Texas basically the size of us, of the UK?
Bigger.
Texas is gigantic.
Yeah.
If you ever fly into Texas at night, it looks like the Tron light grids, because the city it's very flat, but it sprawls out forever.
It's big.
Yeah, Texas is just about bigger than the United Kingdom and Ireland combined.
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Yeah, I think I told you guys when I checked one time, L.A. to New York, which isn't even the entire full length, is about the same distance from edge of Portugal on the ocean to past Moscow. So the idea that you can just drive a little bit and be in a different country is fucking weird.
Yeah.
There's Oren.
Oren, no.
I guess when his family goes back to college, his stuff gets better.
Yeah.
That's why being an early child is the greatest.
Well, see if he's able to reconnect. He's still in Discord.
So while we're waiting, I had a question regarding the entanglement points. You can save them up, right?
Yeah, someone can basically put them towards something, or they're not quite sure. Just put for right now, we'll do blah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's usually someone else spending them for you.
Yeah. She wants to save up the ones that were for me.
Okay.
Because I have 3 points.
Yeah.
You want to make a note.
Yeah. I made a note on the sheet.
Yeah.
Oh right, we're all coming together at the pleasure house. Right.
Oh god, the makeover! I forgot.
Oh, the makeover! Yeah!
The entanglement.
Oh my god.
The entanglement you got me was that I was going to be more popular than you.
Yeah!
Oh fuck.
Oh, I need to put that in there. I believe that was 4 points.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I believe it was 4 points. As I think I had it written down somewhere else. I was looking for it today and I saw it wasn't on the thing.
Yeah. I assume it was as many points as I had, because otherwise it wouldn't. We wouldn't have been able to afford it.
Yeah. It's the House of the Blue Orchid, right?
Yeah.
House of the Blue Orchid.
This rarely happens. Have you've seen the there's the artist who does a lot of like cartoon drawings of him and his wife?
I think so. Yeah.
Got him on Snapchat on the story. Put these things you can vote for possible covers for their book coming out with all this stuff. And down the line, I chose the most popular one for all of them, which doesn't normally happen.
Nice.
Yeah, people are all agreed. These ones would be better.
Hi, Oren. Are you back?
Sort of.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm here.
Okay.
When does your family end up going back to college? And
I think one of them is gone, so it should be a bit better. The other one has like another week or two, I think.
Okay.
Probably at that point, because you'd never had any problems before.
Yep.
Had you moved, or was it just the family thing making the difference?
Family.
Ah, okay. Stupid family.
Stupid fucking family playing Fortnite, taking up all the fucking.
I like Fortnite.
You can know the interwebs. I played a bit of Battlegrounds and thought that was okay, but I tend to lose interest in multiplayer after a bit.
Fair. Alrighty, shall we make horrible decisions?
Let's go.
So, do you want to do a quick recap from last time?
Oh fuck! What actually happened? Oh, the tea shop. We were in the tea shop, like talking to each other, being palsy, and sorry, what's everyone's names?
Summer and Winter Salamander?
Yeah, they showed up, but also hold on. The friend of Lone Sparrow. Lone Sparrow's like
Who am I?
swindler friend was there as well. Then the two salamander siblings appeared and were just like very loudly threatening Pale Orchid to keep the fuck away from business. And then Pale Orchid just got up and was like, "Yo, are you talking to me?" And then we managed to defuse this situation. Sadly.
Right.
Just looking for some fights.
Yeah. And Pale Orchid went to find out more about the sword, and the person was like, "Yo, get rid of this fucking sword. It is a monster. Don't." And Pale Orchid was like, "No."
It's a bad juju.
Yeah. What happened to Lone Sparrow and fucking Plumbuster? I can't remember.
Lone Sparrow.
Lion?
Lone Sparrow met with his former lover, Ubai, who is a con person.
Yes.
And so he got involved with Hoshiren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the head of the merchant house.
Oh yeah, and the debt will be is settled as long as you give me information about whatever the top guy's name.
Well, there's the two the
guy standing down.
Fallen Leaves Society and the Resplendent Phoenix Society have always been essentially close, not quite like head on head, but there's always been a fairly large rivalry.
Yeah.
And because they are two of the more powerful pillars of the Wulin, both of them are trying to make plays for being more powerful, so that they can have a much better chance of actually getting someone who might become in charge of the Eagle Talons, thereby either actually bringing the two of them together or effectively doing so.
And the guy was like, if you tell me about who the guy who's stepping down favors more or something like that, there was like a deal.
Yeah, basically to keep an eye out for like which way the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
And so you can find out. So if he's got that information, he'll consider it paid off. But until then, he's basically putting a freeze on it.
Okay.
And then I offered to help Pale Orchid get employment and take her on as my apprentice. And I used entanglement to get it so that Lone Sparrow will be offered a guard position at the Blue Orchid.
Yes. I was gonna ask, what did you do before? Did you meet with a client or someone before?
Oh yeah, there's like a clingy client who was moving away to the capital, and I encouraged him, and also like a jealous other courtesan showed up. Yeah, Shinja showed up in the middle of my fucking session, and I was just like, bye!
Step off, bitch, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Just like, stay in your lane.
A courtier secret arts off.
Yeah. And I was better, because I always am.
Like, listen up, fuck stick. How's it gonna go?
Cool.
Okay, well, we can kind of start. Like, do you have a? Were you gonna be you were the one who was gonna talk to let me get those names up. Pale Orchid about possibly working at the House of Blue Orchid.
Yeah, Orchid at the Orchid, you know? It's just fitting, Pale Orchid. It's fate. It's in your name.
Yes, I couldn't imagine more fateful stuff. More. It has to be fate that I have to work in a pleasure house. That is what the universe has set out for me.
Exactly! I'm glad you understand.
She's just got the most deadpan face.
Yeah, well, don't you worry. I'm sure... You remember, you get to decide what sort of hobbies do you have? Do you play any music?
Yeah, I used to play a lot of the... Sorry, I fucking looked at instruments and I can't remember what they were called.
The ones there's like the zither, I think. I'm thinking of some I've seen actually used.
Yeah, it's like
as martial
it's
art
called the
instruments. There's also,
guzheng
like,
or something like that.
Yep.
The other ones I think are all.
Yeah, the Guzen is a zither.
Okay.
Yes. Guzheng, and there was a like bamboo pipe sort of thing. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, she says those two.
A DZ, maybe? Or a Zhao? Or Shao? Pai Shao? Anyway.
DZ.
DZ. Well, that's wonderful. You could just play music there if you're good enough at it. You don't have... Pleasure comes in many forms. And, I think... Like, do I need to make... Like, I'm just trying to figure out what we do here, because pretty much, like, I think I'll just, like, take you shopping, and, like, as a gift, like, get you some, like, nice clothes that you can wear?
Cool.
Of course, everyone needs help to get started at some point in their lives. It is of no importance.
She's a bit like... Not shy, but just like a bit resistant to be like, thank you for fucking buying me clothes.
Yeah, and like, I think I sense that, and like, I'll make a big fucking deal out of it. I'm like, oh, this color would be fetching on you. You simply must try it on.
Yeah, she looks over it and like slides her hands over it, and it's like a good material, right? Like,
please, yeah.
Walmart or whatever.
No, we're not Walmart.
Yeah, she treats it with like a care that like is surprising for like an apparent lowborn person to have. And she would. Are
you trying to hide?
I don't think she is.
Okay.
And she. I'm guessing there isn't Yeah, like what the fuck are the customs for buying? Like you buy clothes and stuff. There's not a rack of clothes.
No, like I'd probably take you to a tailor, and we're looking at the cloth and the silks, and you're choosing the material, and then it'll be made for you.
Cool. Yeah, get measured up. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people going around taking measurements, discussing. Are they discussing with you the specifics, or are they going to be discussing more with Lone Sparrow or with Plum Blossom? Like this sort of address or this sort of a.
I defer. If any questions come to me, I like smoothly deflect them back to Pale Orchid, so she has agency in what she wears.
I think she would occasionally look at Plum Blossom and ask like, is this like what like because she doesn't want to like not take it seriously, right? So
Yeah.
so she's like, is this like what courtesans like usually wear? Is this like good? Like, does this help and stuff like that?
Yeah, and and I just give like super honest advice. Like I'm not in it to try. I'm not trying to sabotage you yet.
Is Lone Sparrow sitting in the background, not sure what to do on, or are you doing your own thing?
Pretty I don't know where he is right now. He's just kind of in his own mind, I suppose. Yeah, things are happening.
Wait,
I just-
we'll get to you shortly.
I think.
Totally be getting drunk right now.
Yeah, maybe I find this like nice shade of like. What color are you currently wearing, Lone Sparrow?
Man, let's look at the picture.
Oh yeah, you have that really good picture.
Very yellow, right? Or like
Oh, it's yellow. Oh, and black.
It's like in this off gold and black things.
Yeah, I find like a little bit closer to gold than yellow. Silk. I'm like, this would be a lovely scarf on you. Don't you agree?
I believe that scarves would be used to strangle me, so we should probably avoid that.
Strangle you? Well. Just like walk away like, haven't heard that one before. That's a new excuse. All right, yeah. I think we're done with this little scene.
Okay. Kind of.
And like at this point, has Pale Orchid already been offered? Like, have I already worked with the House of the Blue Orchid to like say, hey, like I'm taking on someone as an apprentice for a little bit, blah blah blah. Yeah. So do we know that Lone Sparrow is going to be working there too? Oh, dude.
Oh, no, okay. not as of yet, or unless. Okay. Yeah, well, I can have someone bring it up.
Okay, well then I think we're probably just gonna head straight over there once we get your clothes set. Like on the way, you know, I think I've been giving you pointers. Like this is probably the next day. I've been giving you pointers last night. Like, all right, like you know, here's the mannerisms for this. Here's how you greet people. Blah 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 blah. Don't panic. He'll be okay. And yeah, we're just gonna go straight into the lion's den.
Okay.
Don't panic. Also, don't murder anyone.
Lone Sparrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're kind of getting all of these things taken care of and done, and at this point, I mean, you still have got. I mean, do we agree you still have the bodyguard job for Plum Blossom? But right now, you're not. It's not as. It's more keeping an eye. Did that sound like what?
I heard none of that.
Oh, as I recall, we talked about you were kind of keeping an eye on Plum Blossom at this point, but not a day-to-day bodyguard so much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so at this point, you actually like some other employment. It could be a possibility. Here in town. Or do you see? Do you go out of your way to see how by at all, or do you kind of avoid them?
I imagine we like meet here and there because it might be a big city, but we have this like weird way of finding each other, or just the fact that interesting times keep bringing us together.
Yeah, and she has a tendency also to sort of maybe seek you out. A bit. Would you two go out for a while?
Probably at least once.
Okay.
To catch up on old times.
One night you're at a fairly nice restaurant or bar inn kind of thing. It's got a balcony that kind of looks over some of the canals that go through. It's in one of the nicer areas. You've got the beautiful trees and such, and the two of you are out on the balcony is the wrong word so much as the just the outside portion of it.
A terrace or patio.
Because terrace for some reason felt wrong. But yeah, I think the terrace. You've been out there. You're out there, sort of talking. At one point, she's like, "Listen, I have taken a job helping out at one of the pleasure houses, and they could maybe use some guards." As I looked around, and they don't seem like there's a whole lot there.
I suppose so long as the coin is good, I'm in, and that this isn't some kind of weird scheme of yours.
I would not scheme. Have I ever gotten you involved in a scheme of mine?
Isn't that how we got pulled into this at the beginning of our little meeting here? Was me getting you out of one?
That's not getting you into it, and I believe a gentleman would not bring that up.
Fortunately.
To a young lady like myself.
Alright.
She kind of smiles. She goes, "It's not a scheme. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't mind seeing you around, and I don't like the way some of them look at me. The people that come in, I think they think that I'm one of the other workers. I'm mostly just helping clean up and sew some stuff here and there and take care of things. I'm not, I don't sort of that." At which point, there's some footsteps kind of approach from behind you, and then you can feel the person sort of stop, probably 4 or 5 feet away, or 4 or 5 steps away. "Good sir."
Just kind of slowly turn around and put my cup down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, man across from you is fairly well dressed to some of the accoutrements of a priest, but there's also something of the warrior in him as well. He's got sort of at a hip a 3-section staff that is folded up. He'd be able to kind of get out relatively quickly. With it, I notice you. Would you have anything that shows Eagle Talon colors or anything on you?
I imagine that I have a seal somewhere on my person. It's probably not brazen, but it might be worked into the metal armaments on one of my sides, or maybe I have a little badge somewhere.
He smiles and looks between you and Hilbai, and I notice you're an Eagle Talon. I'm assuming you've had quite a few questions since you arrived in town.
Received or had?
Asked of you. He smiles. He goes, "I'm not particularly interested in, affairs at that level."
You'd be the first person I've met then.
He smiles and goes, "Hooded Cobra."
Lone Sparrow's Wake.
and steps up still a couple feet away from you on the other side of Helbai, who she sort of knows that when like other like the Wulin especially come involved like this, to at least get a feel for them before either being annoying or trying to clean them. But he's looking out over the canals. He goes, I believe I once met a friend of yours I saw coming to town with.
You're going to have to be more specific, I'm afraid.
He describes Pale Orchid.
Not me! Hell yeah! Not me! Hell yeah!
Describes Pale Orchid. It's like, we quite some time fought together against, some bandits. We happened to meet each other on the road, as many of us do. We did not spend much time talking afterwards, but I wish to remake that acquaintance. Do you know where I might find
Unfortunately, she wasn't part of any contract I was in. She was just in the city, I suppose, or along the way, so she joined the group. Since she's been here, well, I couldn't speak to where she's gone.
Well, if you do happen to see her, tell her that I'm staying. And he points at an inn across the street. I'll be staying there for the next week, roughly, and that I would like to remake our acquaintance.
I'll be sure to pass that on should we cross paths.
Nods, and then nods to your friend, and then leaves.
You just go back to sitting down and drinking, I suppose. So what was that about a guard's job?
She goes, well, this is a high-class place, so I'm sure it pays pretty well. And I gotta say, I've seen there's usually only one person there who's doing any kind of guarding, and things have gotten a little more dangerous with some of the other ones recently, especially with some of the problems that have been coming up in the city. That apparently, and I hear things. This could be for any reason, but you've got some of the politics of the capital are starting to make their way known here. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, there was a minor official who was in town for a bit, got waylaid and attacked, almost killed, right outside of the merchant's district.
Just so you're aware.
The what? You were breaking up there.
Everybody put it out.
Oh. Let me do this real quick.
Hello? Yep.
Oh, Colton? Yep. Okay, yeah, a moment ago you
everyone was.
It might have been this one thing, I think.
Yeah. Are we all good?
If happens again, you want to move over to what's it called?
I think so.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay,
So-
so about a minor official.
Yeah, minor official got waylaid and almost killed because Magnificent Inc. is full of people from the capital. Just the rumors I've been hearing that there might be kind of a war within the current, power structure. Emperor disappeared. I don't know if that new emperor is a kid. It seems like bad things are going to happen. But it's been making its way known here because if you want to find someone who works at the capital and they're not here, you come to Magnificent Inc.
Makes sense to me. The fuse keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter in the city.
You said
The
what keeps getting
fuse.
shorter?
The fuse.
Oh, the fuse. She goes, yeah, it's most of the time here it's super under the surface. There's a lot of cloak and daggers, people scheming for little bits of humiliation here and there, but it's starting to ramp up. I don't think we're going to be armed camp soon, but on the one hand, it's an excellent place to make a bit of coin.
You say that about every city that we got in.
Now listen, I'm not saying this, and then she starts to kind of go into this kind of far-fetched scheme she has of some people she's talked about to try to get information on each other, and she's possibly going to double agent on both of them for some stuff, and like not a really well thought out plan. She's ambitious. She doesn't particularly think through how things might go, and she's rather courageous in what she does. Not always the best thinker on what she's doing.
Yep.
Okay.
Just
How do you present Pale Orchid?
I think we just show up. They know, management knows ahead of time that I have an apprentice here. And I think I just turn to Pale Orchid and say, alright, so for now, all you have to do is just watch, observe, try and get the rhythm of it, and then maybe I'll call upon you to serve a drink, or perhaps play your flute while I discuss something with the client. You don't have to be up in front first. We'll ease into it. How does that sound?
She nods and says, "That sounds fine." Has she been given an opportunity to go, be in her new room? Because she said that she would also get a room to sleep in.
Yeah, you want to go up and speaking to the head of the place. Give me just a moment. The thing I was using for names was bringing up great information, but for the Chinese was not telling me gender. So I don't want to die Wulin. Okay.
Yeah, so if you just want to, if you need to take a few moments in your room first to prepare yourself, I'll be on the main floor, just doing general work today.
She nods. Yeah, she would go up to her room, and the only thing she would do is just walk over to the bed and just fall on it. And just smush her face into how soft it is, because she's been sleeping in the worst fucking beds, and she's just oh my god, this is the best thing ever. Then she just gets up, pats her clothes down, puts her hat, which has been cleaned, and it actually looks surprisingly nice now that it's clean, to one side, and then she goes back down.
Just that moment of
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Dai Huling is when she's up there, kind of enjoying the room, talking to Plum Blossom. It's and you are sure that she has what it takes. This is House of the Blue Orchid is a rather upscale place.
I vouch for her skills. I've seen her move. She has the coordination and grace necessary. I believe in her talent, but hard work, I cannot vouch for the strength of hard work, only the possibility of it.
And while you're saying that, that's her just collapsing on the ground, just bouncing a little bit up. Oh, this is so amazing. So yeah, when Plum Blossom comes down, or not, Pale Orchid rather comes down, Dai looks like one eye kind of cocks up, and she stands and walks over to you, looks you over. She goes, "A beauty. Is she a little rougher? Because the way you sort of described her, seemed not necessarily tomboyish, but someone who's definitely not led a life of all the luxury. Is there something sort of tough about her, or does she come off?"
I think there's definitely there's a grace to it, but it's sort of almost not haughty, but that sort of nobleman's grace in that there's just an edge of just a little bit of not smugness, but just, you know, like I walk like I'm a bit higher up than other people. And also she worked at, not worked, but lived at like the Heavenly Sword headquarters, so she's got like, I think it's a lot less traditional, like noble person. So I think there's like a bit of like just a little bit of roughness, but in the way that it's like almost a soldier's roughness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a mix of both, I think.
Yeah, she looks you over and she's like, "There's steel within her."
I wasn't wrong, was I? Potential.
Kind of walks around. She's like, "There's a type of man that we have, and women, that we have here who love someone like you. Someone strong." And she looks at you, she's like, "Are you opinionated?"
She she looks over at Plum Blossom like, oh god, is this a test? And then just looks back at the person.
I fucking shrug at you. Like, this is up to you.
And says, it depends about the subject, I guess.
She looks you over. She's like, "You need to learn to read people. Some of them want you strong and opinionated. Some of them want you not soft and dull in the head. But we have a great many. Administrators, sages, and others here who what they want.
They
is
like
someone,
a pretty face.
They like a pretty face with a sharp mind behind it. And some of them want to be fought with. Some to be argued with, to have someone who's not afraid to call them out. And some of them want someone that they can feel superior to. Comes with the job. Plum Blossom will be able to tell you that some of them, once you've built up a clientele, you can be more picky, but at first, learning how to deal with people is important."
I think she just nods.
She says, "Now, they are here paying for your grace, your will, your intelligence. Nothing beyond that is owed. Of course, other things happen, but nothing goes further than you wish it. That actually reminds me." As she turns to like one of the servants there, and Kelby sort of stands up and then kind of goes out. Lone Sparrow, she had asked you to be here around this time at the House of the Blue Orchid.
Yep.
Yeah, and she comes out of a room, and she just waves you over. "Lone Sparrow."
Walk right over. There's no reason to really hide.
I'm like waving at you, like, ah! I didn't know you were working here. I don't like scream out loud, but I'm like ecstatic.
Yeah, as Lone Sparrow walks into the room. Yeah, you come into a room with Plum Blossom, Pale Orchid, Dai Huling, and Helbai. So the only one you don't know here is the person who might be your boss. And she looks over at you. She's like, "Things have become a little more stressful of late. Now I hear from Helbai that you are an experienced fighter."
As experienced as one can be.
"Ah, well experienced. Well, perhaps we shall have resplendently run you through your paces a bit, but we are looking for another guard would be nice to have here just in case, because while Resplendent Lyn is a formidable warrior, it is nice to sometimes have someone who looks a little on the outside like they are ready for war."
I think I actually step in and say, by coincidence, I actually know this young fellow too, and can vouch for his worthiness in battle. We fought alongside each other actually on the way here.
And she looks and there's a bit of a smile. She's like, would you say that he would do as well being tested by resplendent Lin?
Well, yes.
Well, yes.
In that case, I will defer to your experience, as you had quite a hand with her, from what I was told.
It was very fun.
It was very fun.
And she sort of smiles. She goes, "Well, in which case?" And she speaks over with you, Lone Blossom, some money, like, and this is one where you all had to, like, it pays well. And for the most part, Lone Sparrow, you would be the courtesans are able to call you if there is a problem. There are a couple ways. I mean, it can be vocally, but there's also a couple things hidden. They don't tend to have many problems here, but with some of the things that have been happening, the worry right now is more someone is going to try to come in and possibly attack someone, or try to get information out of someone who is otherwise engaged. So they're less worried about someone being rough with one of the girls or one of the guys, but then coming into a client and disrupting that.
Okay, the last thing I heard was something about different methods of contact, and then, like, I got the every third word thing again.
Oh.
No,
I think I'm
No,
still getting it.
Okay, it's essentially the concern is not that someone's going to be rough with the people who work there, but that someone might come in to try to gain access or information to a client.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, the people who work there can take care of themselves, but it's more to have a bit of a show of force there if someone decides they are going to show up and try to cause those problems. So just kind of keeping an eye out for that is one of the big ones, and just being present.
Gotcha.
And of course, keeping an eye for people who might be Wulin.
I can do that. I got point.
Because they are not unwelcome. They just they're the ones who can become problems if they're there to mess with.
I took specific tactics, bodyguard. So,
Oh, cool.
this is just bodyguarding a building.
Yep. It was very well. She kind of leans. She's like, or Benevolent Lynn. And she kind of pops her head in and introduces, like, you'll be working with, your name again, sir?
Mine? Are we talking to me, or... Okay, then Lone Sparrow's Wake.
She goes, Lone Sparrow. And, like, Resplendent Lynn looks at you and it's like, he hasn't been tested. I could see to his skills.
Isn't this the same woman that watched me jump into a burning building and then excavate a bunch of people and then nearly kick the shit out of another guy? Okay.
Yes? Do you say something?
No, it's not. It's not considered polite to one up your employer. The Talon teaches you that, anyway.
And Dai Huling looks over at Plum Blossom. I believe Plum Blossom is aware of Lone Sparrow's capabilities.
He's very fast. He'll be able to reach trouble when needed.
And she has this moment where she opens her mouth to say something, and then kind of shuts it for a moment, and then, like, her eyes are just a little bit more narrow than they were a moment ago. She's not particularly happy that you're
I give her, like,
there,
a confused, like a subtly confused, but a confused look, like, what's your beef?
She, like, the look she gives you seems to communicate, I know
Shit wrong!
and, like,
It's not my fault, but
well,
it's close enough.
in a meta sense.
Oh man.
Okay. So at which point, and she's like, "What you?" And then she Benevolent Lynn leaves, and Hubai looks again. And then Dai Huling looks at you again. And it's like, "So you two are acquainted. That will be useful."
Toss two.
Toss two.
Okay. Well, I will leave you some time to prepare. Do what you must. And then she leaves the three of you.
Lord Sparrow, how'd you get this job? Oh, God.
I was gonna say there's just three of us in the room.
Yeah, well, then there, yeah, and Halbai is sort of, Halbai is there. She's got to kind of get back to working soon, but then just sort of smiles. She's like, "You two know each other?"
Well, she was at the tea house with us.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's
I
what you're telling me.
didn't expect to meet you again so soon, both of you. What a pleasant surprise.
What a pleasant surprise.
It certainly is a surprise.
She smiles.
Fuck, that was... Lord Sparrow, are you... I have the feeling that you're not returning my joy, but that is okay. I'm sure we'll get to know each other so well working together.
And Halbai at this point is like, "Oh, I'll be back." And then she leaves the room to go back about her duties.
Goodbye!
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
But seriously, Blood Sparrow, like... What?
Halbai said she had a job for me. He needed coin while I was in the city, and guarding a pleasure house was simple enough.
Well, don't you worry, I do know how to keep things professional. And I look forward to working with you again. It will be a comfort having you around. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have a star to prepare.
Pale Orchid was like during that conversation was behind Plum Blossom, and she was just like doing that that Mulan thing of just like scratching, like trying to reach down like the back of her like new dress and scratching and just like,
Without even looking, I give you like a gentle like slap on the head, like nope.
yeah, just like doing trying to adjust her clothes like and just totally being like ungraceful about it and just like get a slap.
Ah, that's what the restroom breaks are for. You keep it together until then. You're going to do great. You're going to do splendidly. Well, shall we?
Yeah, she nods and just will like follow your lead.
Yeah, I just get on the floor and I'm ready to do my job and perform job shadowing services.
Okay. And we'll kind of skip through a little bit here. You notice that, like, throughout the night, there is a quite a number of, like, you were speaking with some of the, particularly some of the sages that came in, and the kind of the wealthier administrators. Definitely take an eye to Pale Orchid. And you're like, you've got several different, and you've got Kao Zen, his return for to see you again. But Pale Orchid, how are you dealing with the attention that you're getting?
So no one's like directly approached her, right? They're just like giving her looks and stuff.
You've had there's looks, and there are several who have approached, like, you seem to be new here.
Yeah, she smiles slightly and just says, yes, I started today, in fact. And she just like gives them, like, tries to give them like a smile that might be expected.
At which point you get like you start to get rather quickly a group of people around you. Oh, new here, and others kind of hear and then start to leave, and like Plum Blossom is speaking with someone. At that point, they kind of hear new, like, oh, you're new here. He sort of looks over at Pale Orchid and has that moment where just sort of drops off in conversation and then heads away.
So there's like a group of people around her.
Yep.
Yeah, and like, you're not in sight. Like, I'm doing my job. Not gonna stop doing my job. I think maybe to my client, I'll say, "Oh, what do you think that hubbub is about?"
Yeah, Calzan looks. She's like, someone new. The shot of the apple that won't last for long at all. When you are here to irradiate to irradiate with when your radiance will very quickly get their eye once more, and then is sort of being a little sloppy.
There's, as you know well yourself, there is value in newness, in the sheen of something outside coming in, or going to something outside. And there's no shame in that.
I myself have discovered recently the joys of
Yeah, and I like put my hand on top of his and give it like a nice little like,
So, Lone Sparrow, are you like outwardly armed as you're going around? Like you got your sword and was yours a sword?
What? I don't have a weapon because my weapon is my hands.
Oh, that's right. Hand swords. You get some kind of odd looks as I don't know if some of them I think you a particularly rough looking, or I don't know. Are you someone who looks a little like a rough wanderer a bit, or do you look more refined and?
I look like you put a rough guy in a really nice suit.
Okay. Yeah, you got that look around. Like, this is someone who's maybe not necessarily to be messed with. There are people that have some looks that are looking a little askance, not entirely sure. At one point, you see that there is a young woman, maybe 16 or 17, kind of like rushes in, and then she's looking, and then you see she sees Benevolent Lynn and heads straight towards her. And Benevolent Lynn has been kind of like going through the outskirts, looking, smiling a little bit, being like kind of pleasant to those who talk to her, but enough standoffish enough that they tend to leave. With her sword and such honor as a reminder that she is not, she is there for more security. And one of them comes and is speaking to Lynn for a moment. Then Lynn walks over to you and goes, "I'm sure you can keep an eye on this."
Have I actually been hired? Okay.
Yes.
Then yes, I can totally keep an eye on this.
She goes, "This should be but a moment." And then she goes into the little courtyard in between, that like opens up in between the the little courtyard in the middle of the building. Okay. You just wandering, looking at stuff, or are you doing anything in particular?
I'm wandering and just kind of applying the same rules you use on the road for bodyguarding to just assume that the whole building is my protective area now.
I keep the whole building behind me in case of a problem. Yeah, you're sort of heading around, checking things, doing all things you need. At one point, you feel like a hand press something into yours. You look, Halbai is sitting there, and she's got like a little flask of wine. Mm-hmm. She goes, "Got this off of one of the guys," and she kind of points at one of the people surrounding Pale Orchid.
I'm sorry, I'm not catching your meaning. Did you just lift a thing of wine off of a man?
I obtained something I am sharing with a friend off of someone who has enough money that he doesn't need this extra bit of wine.
Then I would suggest we store it and we'll enjoy it afterwards. But right now, we need a clear head.
Yeah, then she kind of gives you a look.
Not right now, I'm not.
Takes it back and then sort of heads off. So, then Pale Orchid, you've got your. So how are you dealing with all of the attention?
She's like. There's like a lot of them, and she's like, "Oh God, how am I supposed to talk to so many people at once? And how many? What?" And then I think she's just like, "Okay, is this a moment where I can spend Joss for there to be a guzheng over in the corner or something.
Yeah,
One of
to be a
those
what?
stringed music, like zithers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Does it
I'm
matter
putting
what
Joss
Joss it
there.
is?
Does it matter what?
Okay.
Malicious Joss means it's haunted.
You play it.
It's the Enya instrument.
Okay, yeah, I'll spend one chivalrous. I think she smiles and then says, she looks at everyone and just says, would you like a performance?
Oh yes, and then there's a bit of clapping as you have people sort of gathered up and.
Yeah, I'm like hear all this clapping. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, oh, it looks like a show's about to start.
She like slowly goes over to it, and then there's like this transition of like, she seemed like a bit awkward before, and then as she slowly lowers herself to the instrument, she seems like in her fucking zen. Like, it might do like, if this was a TV show, it might do like a cutback thing where she's like in a totally different place in the past, like sitting in the exact same like space, and like.
If you want to make first a sort of a, there might be a way, because if that's sort of like focusing yourself, but in the way that gets people's attention.
Yeah, sure.
Probably so you can do that. You can then put into your river possibly for the performance.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that tranquility and effortlessness where you kind of achieve that state as you arrive, where other people.
She's
will start
done
to pay
this a
attention.
lot before, so I guess. Roll. Please give me something. 2 6s and 2 4s. I guess I'll put the 2 6s in the river then.
Okay.
Hold on, I should actually get.
And what's
My
your
Wu
Wu
Wei is 10. 34.
So 34?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of, as you come in, there's a bit of a hush starts to settle. As you, that'd be a hard thing. Everyone sort of starts to turn as you go, and then the other little conversations begin to sort of die out a little bit. Those of you who are paying attention, like Plum Blossom and Lone Sparrow, might notice that the other courtesans are not necessarily thrilled that they're the people they're talking with are now paying more attention.
Oh yeah, I'm not necessarily thrilled either.
Yep. And did you start to play?
Yeah. So hold on. So my it was 2 6s. Okay.
Okay. Her mom is out behind Nigel. Mary,
Oh my god.
So this is another roll then, or is this?
Yeah, another roll. You've got those 6s in your river.
Oh, 4 6s.
Jesus Christ!
So 4 6s plus my performance with the speciality of music is 15.
Is that 61?
Is
that 61?
I don't know. Is it?
that 60? 61 is, it goes from trivial, moderate, hard, memorable, then fantastic to 60. Like legendary is at 80.
Cool.
Holy
You are going to get cut.
shit. Yeah, it's and then just starts to play. And do you sing with her or just play?
Do I sing? Oh, does she sing?
I think she hums.
Don't know the words.
She forgot. No, she's just like.
Yeah, and just as it's going, like just transfix everyone there. Like and like once you sort of finish, there's thunderous applause at everyone else that's there, like just going absolutely nuts.
While she was playing, there was sort of like she was somewhere else in her head, right? Like she was just totally like blanked out everyone, and then when she stops playing and like the applause like hits her ears, and she like sort of snaps out of it, and she's like, oh, and then she looks around at everyone, and she's like, did I play that well?
I'm clapping enthusiastically. Like, I'm not so petty as to not, commend a phenomenal performance like that.
Clapping a little bit too hard.
Well, so slightly too hard. Like, I am genuinely really happy for you.
Plum Blossom, someone not clapping slides next to you. Peng Ki, who is one of the other courtesans there, just has this sort of look, this like a bit of a steel look, and she's like, "Oh, she's just made our jobs a lot more difficult."
No, not at all. She will draw more patrons in, and she cannot meet everyone's demands, which means more work for us all.
She has that moment where she looks you over, she's like, "Oh, I guess you know you'll be number 2, so
This isn't the competition, friend. We all make enough to do well for ourselves here. There's no need to compete.
yeah, that's just like, of course, we're all wonderful, happy, lovely friends."
What? Are you doing okay, my friend? Is something the matter?
No, I am doing fine. It's just, first you show up, and then
What do you mean by that?
I mean, there was an order here, and you disrupted it some, and now she, who seems to know you, disrupted it more.
I'm just doing my job. Certainly, I haven't lowered the number of patrons you're getting, surely.
At that point, she sort of names off a few patrons that you. She's like, shaved a bit, but we'll see.
Well, I guess we will. Please, you understand that I'm not. I'm just here doing my best, doing something I love, and I want us all to have space to do that. I want to try and make a roll here. I want her to be like assuaged. Yeah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Thank the Lord. Will this be, this would be Inspire.
Yeah.
Would this be a courtesanal art, or like, because she's also...
Yeah, I think soothing people's, like...
Okay, then, that's a 47.
Definitely part of it. Yeah, you... As you speak with her and kind of bring her down a little bit, and she's like, look, it's a little bit of jealousy. It's natural.
Of course. It's only natural. I just hope that you know I value you as well. I'm not in this to try and... I want us all to succeed. Every last one of us.
Because you could be a little more
I mean, if you want me to, I can be. Your wish is my command. And I give her like an exaggerated bow.
She smiles a bit and then takes some wine, then looks back to all the people. Then she's like, well, tonight we're playing for second fiddle, I guess.
I suppose. At least it'll be an easier night. They'll all be warmed up for us.
And Lone Sparrow.
Yep.
Benevolent Lynn comes back towards you. She goes, a little later this evening there will be a small meeting in the I want to say foyer, and that's not correct. In the courtyard. At that point, are you able to keep an eye on, make sure nobody comes in who shouldn't?
Yes, that's well within my capability.
Things in the city are getting complicated. We're still, you were there. You know, they still think we may have something to do with what happened at the Falling Leaves Society house.
Well, hopefully it'll get sorted out soon and things can go back to normal. Or as normal as they get in this city.
She smiles. She's like, good. Yeah, we'll wait once things settle down a little bit here. If you need me, once this happens, I'll be very close. Call for me, and myself and others will be in instantly. Okay, so that night, things probably go fairly well, particularly for Pale Orchid. Might be a little overwhelming that first evening, but you do have a ton of.
She's like, she went to perform to sort of like get away from the not have to deal with the crowd, and since she performed, like the crowd's even bigger, so she's like, oh god, this did the opposite of what I wanted.
Yeah, I think maybe like after your performance, I noticed that you're overwhelmed. And after talking with my coworker, I come up and say, "That was astounding. Where did you learn to play like that?"
Oh, I used to play for the people at home every once in a while. And everybody, like, she says every once in a while, but she thinks back, it was probably every night around dinner time.
Well, if you can play like that every night, then you'll be doing fantastically. If you can play like that once a month, you'll be doing fantastically. I'm so happy to see you already blossoming here.
She would have reprimanded you for the pun. But I think she's just a bit like, things are moving very quickly, and she's just like, I need time to process this. So she just smiles slightly.
Can I? No one would blame you for needing a break after a performance like that. Can I get you some water?
Sure. And she leans in slightly. How the fuck do you deal with so many people at once? I mean, they're all talking, and then I can barely hear what they're saying. What do you do?
What I do is, I drink it all in. There's nothing I love more than all these people, all these eyes. And look out there. Look at them. I know it's scary, but look. They're all here, and they're all cheering. Because you showed them something beautiful. That's how I deal with it.
You really like this, huh?
I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't. And I'm glad that you're doing okay so far. Honestly, this would be overwhelming for anyone's first day. I'll make sure you get a break. Don't worry. I don't think I can match a performance of that caliber, but I will try to keep the crowd assuaged. I'll direct people where they need to go so you can slip away and get a break.
She nods and says thank you.
Of course. And I'm going to do exactly that. Like, I'm going to go into the crowd and let's cheer again for that wonderful performance. And I walk up to people I know and start asking how they're doing, directing them to other courtesans who I know that they've talked to before, just trying to get the crowd dispersed a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, throughout the like I said, throughout the evening, things go fairly well. A lot of people are there. It gets to the point where things have closed down. It's quite late. The last of the people have left from it, and you two notice a large amount of women are starting to arrive, come in, and then be led in the little courtyard. And they're gathering there. Resplendent Lynn is greeting them as they come in. And they are soon speaking for a while. They're fairly quiet. They'll have their heads together. There's a point where it's just the three of you in the sort of main room. Are people just retiring that evening, or just there's things you're doing?
Well, I'm on guard duty still.
I'm probably reviewing with Pale Orchid, we both know their performance went spectacularly. Here are some other things to look for. It's when you pour your tea, try to curve your wrist a little bit more or something.
Like an extremely long list of just small things. Just learn this by tomorrow.
Oh no, I have the utmost of confidence in you.
Yeah, I think she's trying to sit with the posture that's expected because they're still in the main room, but you can see she's flagging a bit, and she's just nodding and says I think she says, so how much does this pay again?
Well, you won't have to worry about buying clothing again, and you'll have a room, you have room and board. It's more than enough to get by. I mean, you've seen the way I dress.
Yeah, I have. And then she says that with just like, I don't know if that's good or a bad thing. Like she's being a tiny bit judgy.
I mean, it's fine that you wear that.
You understand that if you do want to continue working here, you will be expected to comport yourself similarly. Do you still take issue with it?
She pauses for like a moment, and then she's just like thinks about like how like well and like how like her very fluffy bed, and she's just like, no, I'm fine with it.
Well, good. One more insult and you would have broken my heart permanently. I'll give you a wink. Oh, well, seems like the Phoenix Society is having a meeting tonight.
Yeah, that can't be good, if I'm honest.
What are you worried about?
I mean, I guess by now we've all heard the rumors. Well, they're not even rumors, but if they're planning something with lots of them like that, then they're probably trying to one up and try to get favor with whatever his name was.
The
Eagle Talon.
Oh, Gallon Eagle.
Lone Sparrow, are you worried about this?
It's not my job to worry. My job is to keep people out.
But if it was your job to worry,
If my job was to maintain the state of this city, and not to maintain the state of this place, then I would be very worried about any large gathering of Wulin members.
That is a fair point.
you are. I was gonna ask, you have a lot of mannerisms that are very like Resplendent Phoenix. Are you with them?
You're asking me?
Yes.
No, I do not like being so tied down. I support many of their ideals, though. We differ in the direction our zeal takes, perhaps.
I was about to say it would be interesting to see if what they were talking about, but if you're not with them, then I guess we wouldn't be welcome.
I admit I am extremely curious, but I have not been working here long enough to have that kind of sway.
At which point Kalbai kind of like staggers her way in. And kind of says that she's got a flask in her hand as she sits down at one of the tables. Looks like somebody did not get it out in time to enjoy the wine.
I'm just like very pointedly ignoring her right now.
I think she. I think Pale Orchid sees her and is just like, would anyone like any tea? And is looking pointedly at her because like tea can help like ease drunkenness and is trying to.
Did you learn that from me?
Yes.
I'm not gonna say no.
I would love some.
Lone Sparrow. I was saying, Lone Sparrow. She's looking a little pointedly at you.
Yeah, I'll just kind of slowly make my way over, not saying anything yet, but just kind of imposing presence.
Yeah, she kind of looks at you, looks up, and says, "Are you gonna try to bounce me?"
I assure you, sir, that should the need come for it, there will be no try.
No, this is
Oh,
Cowboy.
I feel like it still hasn't changed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Like how you know I can pick you up.
And she sort of smiles. She's like, but I could not help but overhear your friend here curious about the women in the courtyard.
Of course, whenever there's a gathering of a society, don't you want to know the dirt?
I just so happen to have the dirt.
Then by all means, please share the dirt.
Well, currently, there's an argument about what specifically they should be doing, and then she sort of looks back, and there's a moment where the door opens, and you're the only one who comes in is Resplendent Lynn. The courtyard is otherwise empty. Everyone else probably having like their way out, sort of over the rooftops, and Resplendent Lynn kind of comes in, looks, is like, anyone else here?
Not the moment.
And she looks at the Lone Sparrow, is like, that will probably not happen again. I apologize.
Sure place of business. There's no...
Well, there were some issues. Well, wish you all a good night. And Resplendent Lynn then leaves. At which point, Kyobai is like, she, kind of pointing after where Resplendent Lynn went, she is all about trying to drive the Falling Leaves Society out of town. This is their city, and she's arguing that they got to make a stand and become the bigger faction here, but they don't have enough people right now. Like they're trying to make it not come to blows, but I think she wants some blood.
Yeah, I get that impression as well. But
A lot of argument about it. They're not quite sure, but they are going to see what they can do to financially attack them first, but there has been run-ins with some of the members. So far, no fights, but it's going to happen probably soon, and they're deciding whether they should lead it or not.
Huh. Well, I certainly appreciate the heads up. I don't really know if I care to get involved in it, but hopefully all the stress will draw more clients here.
Smiles at that point.
I think. Go ahead.
Stands up, a little wobbly. You think what?
I think Pale Orchid comes a bit like back in the room at that point and says, I think it's great how they're talking about dealing with each other rather than the terrorists that fucking blew up their enemies like headquarters.
She's terrorists. They're terrorists?
Yeah,
We don't- They tried to kill children. Don't worry, your friend was very apt.
And she's getting a little close to, like, maudlin drunk. Why are they killing the
Oh, they didn't. They got confused. Now, Lone Sparrow, I forgot to show you two to your rooms. Please, let me take you. And, like, giving him a look like, let's get her to bed.
What about the tea? She's like holding a teapot.
Here, chuck it.
Yeah, and then she's... Go by is sort of, like, stumbling her way down the hallway.
Yeah, I make sure she gets to her room safe.
Yep. Gets there and just sort of, like, collapses on top of it and then, like, rolls herself into the blankets.
I like leave a cup of water near her.
Mm-hmm.
For when you wake up.
For when you wake
Don't
up.
sleep in too late. They don't like that.
Don't sleep in too late. They don't like that.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Like as I leave, like the camera sees my face just like change to a fucking scowl. It's like this fucking lady, like comes to work here and has no respect for this place and what we do. Oh, I'm so tempted to steal a few coin off her as revenge, but I'm not going to. Yeah, one strike.
One strike.
Alright. I think, like, I rejoin you two, and I'm like, you know, Orchid, you raised an excellent point. I'm also concerned that everyone seems to be ignoring a common enemy. Neither of you would happen to know anything more about them, would you?
Literally just that they threatened me in the house.
Okay.
And I know the name of the person who did it.
Who would that be?
Was it Red Eagle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Red Eagle.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the name doesn't ring a bell for me.
Oh, if you see them, you'll know. And she describes just like, oh yeah, they were like bright red, covered in fire.
Oh yeah, that'll do it, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, little bits of flame kind of spiraling through his hair. A little hard to miss. A
Yeah.
little hard to miss.
How late in the night is it?
Oh,
Okay.
about 2 in the morning.
Well, I should probably be retiring, but I'll look forward to seeing you both in the morning, and maybe we can talk about if we want to try to talk to certain people, maybe try and calm things down a little. You know, I was being facetious about the business earlier. I don't want the civil war in the streets as much as anyone else does.
So, what's like? This isn't her. This is me. What's like the? Do we work like every day? Is it only like at evenings? Is it like?
I figure you can probably make your own. Like I'm assuming you get to a point where like there's mixers and such, but there's also a point where you sort of have appointments with clients.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say like, do we do we have to be at the job at any particular point, or can we like do we have time to do like go out?
You have time to do the other stuff you want to do.
Yeah, I think maybe, like, Orchid, Lone Sparrow, I know you're here for a job, and of course I want to respect that, but would you be interested in perhaps working together? I mean, we are fellow Wulin after all, and, well, if we can't try to calm things down here, who can?
No,
Or
I
did you
didn't.
get that?
Oh, I said, so, Pale Orchid, it sounds like you have an interest in going after these mystery people. We are all fellow Wulin. Lone Sparrow, I know you're here just for a job, but your assistance would be greatly appreciated. I think you as well would like to see this city not collapse into open fighting.
Peace is preferable.
Well then, perhaps we can all meet tomorrow and try and come up with a strategy to track these people down.
That does leave me with a question.
Of course.
Orchid, does the name Hooded Cobra mean anything to you?
Does it, Jim?
Not a thing. And even if he describes what you're talking about, you're like, that doesn't remind you of anything that's happened to you.
She shakes her head and says, "No, why?" And then she goes, "Oh God, is this the potential? Did the client ask for me or something?"
No, someone who says they're from your past is looking to make up for a time, I suppose, were the words he was what he was after, but given that you don't know who he is, I suspect he's after much worse things.
She like stops and tries to recall like any information, and then she's just like, "No, I can't think of anything." And she's like, "But if they know I'm here,
They? Excuse me.
sorry, if this person has like asked for me direct, like they know who I am, I guess. Like I haven't been in this town long enough for people to like know immediately, right? So, but if I don't know them, then they've heard of me at least, which is oh, that's not good. Where were they staying? Did you say?
Just pointing off in the general direction.
Yeah, you're able to tell them the end.
What did they? Can you tell me what they look like? Like a good description, so I might recognize.
I'll give a general description.
Yeah, a little rough around the edges, but sort of well kept, but had the bearing of a member of the Wulin, probably around your own rank. The 3-section staff on the side, some of the accoutrements of a priest, but beyond that, you didn't get a. But he describes well enough that you'd recognize who it is if you saw them.
I know you probably didn't, but I don't suppose you recognized if they were Heavenly Sword or not.
You didn't see anything that would have said Heavenly Sword. And my guess is the Heavenly Sword is probably not terribly shy about showing.
No, they're very like honorable and not
like what they are,
sneaky or stuff like that.
Yeah. It also seems like, I mean, if it was a member of the Honorable Sword, or the Heavenly Sword, there are things they could have told, they could have mentioned that a regular person wouldn't have seen as such a big deal, but you would have known. Okay, they're a member of the Sword.
So no Heavenly Sword vibes.
Well, that is concerning, although you really don't have any idea why anyone would be after you. None at all. And I'm giving you a look.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you're at least minor nobility. Like, no one after, say, certain treasures handed down by your family, or you're not related to someone they might want to get to.
Yeah, she just goes, no, nothing like that. And then she makes an effort to be like, well, it's like 2 a.m. I'm gonna go to bed and deal with this tomorrow.
I'm gonna try and call you out. So like, let's make a lie roll.
Yeah, go ahead.
You need to go ahead first, right?
Oh, so hold on. So how does this work?
It's a stealth roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Wu Wei. I'm trying to remember.
I've got both. I've got.
Yeah, up to you.
Wei.
I think it's stealth, but I think Wu Wei had to.
Stealth. Yeah, stealth is concealing
Okay,
the truth.
and then I will make a roll. Okay, I didn't have anything to put my river. Yeah. Well, gotcha.
Holy shit.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, so I obviously fail.
Jesus.
Do we need to still measure it up to see how much I fail, or is it just a fail?
If you want, you can make a roll to see if you do something like awesome.
I mean, I got. It's awareness, right? Or is it Wu Wei?
I guess it counts as stealth. It's awareness,
Ooh,
right?
double check.
Awareness. Then I got. Let's see. That's 42, 52.
And I have 27, 30.
Oh no, it'd be
Oh,
Wu
Wu Wei, not awareness.
Wu Wei is the pick up because awareness is
Ah.
more physical stuff, but here's like the social.
Okay, then I got 47.
Then I got 47.
And I have 27, 32.
Yep. Yeah, you can tell that she's
Orchid,
lying.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
about
I'll say,
something.
Orchid,
Yeah.
I appreciate your skill in battle, and I appreciate you having you around. I hope to be friends, and I feel like I've done right by you, and I would appreciate if you'd be forthcoming in these matters. I'm a friend, and I'm trying to help you. But if you want to sleep on it, please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
I think she sighs, and says, okay, but can you give me till tomorrow?
Absolutely.
I'd like to tell you after some sleep.
I completely understand. Thank you. I hope you're able to rest.
She nods, and then goes to bed, I guess.
Okay.
Spare?
Anyone do anything else that evening?
Don't think so.
Don't think so.
Does Plum Blossom sleep with grace and
I don't think he doesn't put on airs when he's alone.
But I was gonna say, is there a contrast to because Pale Orchid is just gonna sleep with a mouth open, drooling slightly. Clutching
I think the one thing is he goes through exercises with his sword before bed, and with.
Mom, you can't come in the room while I'm doing my exercise on the floor.
Can we take a quick break for restroom and water?
A quick break for restroom
Great.
water.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, I'm back.
Cool.
I know what you're getting your entanglement for, huh? Or your whatever you call it, deed.
Oh yeah. What am I getting it for? Oh,
That performance.
Yeah. What would that come under?
Might be force. I don't know. Let me double check the.
Force. Yeah, because it's force is a show of skill and
Yeah, it's prowess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be force.
Cool. God, I can't wait for everyone in the entire city to fucking know my name now.
Oh my god.
Hey, I want to be kind of.
I was.
sneaky, not,
If you didn't get such a good roll, I was going to try to immediately follow up with a performance of my own, just so you know. But you got such a good roll that I was like, nope, I know when I'm fucking beat.
Just initially going into the city, I wonder if I can stay low and just find stuff out. Immediately, fucking mind-blowing 61 performance.
Word will spread a little bit
Cool.
back.
Cool.
So, Oren, were you doing anything else that evening?
My job is just to make sure that the building's secure.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, yeah, it's not the whole time, but at that point, once people have left and such, you're
then
fine.
probably just making sure Halbai hasn't drunk herself to death this time, and then go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of go in like to check on her. She's totally wrapped up, snoring lightly. Like she sleeps it off pretty well. What's probably super aggravating about her is she tends to wake up the next day with a hangover.
Motherfucker.
He's the kind of person who just somehow naturally avoids consequences, so she never learns.
Oh, by the way, that's me.
Oh.
I do not get hangovers. Oh. I earn them.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I had an ex that she used to get so mad. She's like, I'd be drunk every day if I were you. I'm like, sometimes I just don't want to get drunk.
Yeah.
Wild.
I never wake up drunk, like with a hangover, but sometimes I wake up still drunk.
I know someone like that. Mystifying.
It's like I've been asleep for 6 hours, but I still can't count.
Yeah, I've never had
Falls
that
off
happen.
at a certain point.
Incredible.
Like I've crashed for like an hour or so and then like woken up that way, but not like after a full night's sleep.
Alright.
Okay, so at this point, started to kind of make your names a bit there. I think the three of you said you were doing something the next morning.
I think we all agreed that. Well, we're gonna get the dirty deets from Pale Orchid
Oh, great.
about what's going on.
Oh yeah, there was one thing that I wanted to do before she went to bed, just like a tiny little. She walks into her room, closes it, locks the door, and then immediately she goes to the bed and like slides her hands underneath like the mattress or whatever it is, and pulls out the sword to make sure it's still there, because that's where she's been hiding it like while she worked. And then she like holds onto it for a little while, and then sighs and then puts it back under the bed and then goes to bed on like the other side. Cool.
Okay.
And then I guess she's just like, in the morning she like goes down to get breakfast and the others are just there staring at her. I guess. So are they like expectant, like looking at her expectantly, or are they like giving her like space and time, or?
I mean, like, I think maybe I made breakfast. Like, I know that, even though I'm insistent, but I know it's uncomfortable. So, like, I make breakfast, I, like, have, like, in the mornings, it's really not that busy. So, like, I have, like, a private room. And, like, Lone Sparrow, if you wish to join us, I'm sure, they'll excuse you for a little bit, but if you don't care, then I'm not here to drag you.
Yeah, if they'll excuse me, I'll stick around. Because my second job is following you.
Alright. So let's hear it. Why would someone be after you?
Okay, so I have lived in the HSA headquarters all of my life. Is there like a prolific, like? I was gonna say our names don't really like have a family name thing going on. So it like how do like houses like identify themselves?
They would know your family name probably.
Okay.
Or I mean, maybe the family name.
Then can I just like make up like a family name that's like prolific in HSA or something? Yeah, she would say I am part of the family of insert name here. And my uncle. I never knew my dad. And so my uncle was probably the closest thing to a father figure I had, and I care about him very deeply, and he was a very, very good man until he wasn't.
And so your uncle might be after you?
I don't even know if he's alive anymore, but I have something of his, and I imagine it's upset a great many people and made a lot of other people greedy.
It's not. Yeah. What's the thing that everybody's looking? Is it the seal? That everybody's looking for to prove like succession to the throne?
Yeah, there are the
You don't
royal
have
seals.
a royal seal, do you?
Oh, no, God's no. It was just something that mattered a lot to him, and I don't want it being soiled. It's very personal.
I understand. So you have the Heavenly Sword Alliance is after you?
It didn't seem like that person was Heavenly Sword, and they might send someone. It depends how much they care. I imagine they might, and so I'm trying to. She looks around like the room and says, "Was trying to keep low."
There's benefits in hiding in plain sight, you know.
Yeah.
If you keep drawing crowds like that, they'll never be able to get to you.
It might just be anyone who's heard of the rumors and is coming to check. I really don't know who it could be.
Okay, well, thank you for telling us. Now, with that out of the way, how should we approach this? We need to... Well, I don't really know if there's a way I can solve your problem. You seem to want to keep it personal, and of course I'll do my best to protect you while you're here, as we'll all...
That has nothing to do with you, and I don't want to drag you into that.
Okay, well then, we need to solve this issue with Red Eagle. And this salamanders as well. I mean, I told them to never come near me again. And I have a feeling that they might not.
We could ask around, I guess. I don't know how much attention that would draw to us. Lone Sparrow, I imagine messengers pick up more information than most.
More than likely, I'll tap around, see what can be found.
I'll certainly ask around some of my clients, try and get them talking. And I suppose we'll try to reconvene here in a few days or so. I'm sure you earned a few independent contracts last night.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Keep calm. Maybe keep something easily concealed on you.
Lifts up her hands.
Right, you also have sword hands. I don't know how you do that, either of you, but whatever. You'll be fine. I think people are charmed by your being flummoxed.
She doesn't know if to take that as like a insult or a compliment, but
just be yourself. People are paying you to be you, so just be you and don't apologize for it. Unless it's randomly starting fights with clients, please don't do that.
What if one of them is one of the salamander people or anything?
I don't think the salamanders were here last night, so I don't think they hired you.
Good. What do we think about the politics between Phoenix and Fallen Leaves? Do you think we should touch that with a 10-foot pole, or
Nope.
no?
I'm employed by the Resplendent Phoenix Society. I'm not going to get involved. They have not asked me to get involved. They know my feelings, they know my beliefs, but they also know that I don't care to partake in all of their activities. I'm much more concerned with the unknown players. I don't want to see my home turn into battleground because of someone else increasing the flame.
She looks at Lone Sparrow and says, "Do you care to get involved with city politics?"
I'd rather not. There's enough politics in the world, and we have our own game to play. At least with the Talon.
I imagine. How do you have all the time for these jobs right now? Surely things must be going crazy over there.
Back at the nest? Yes. Everybody is competing, fighting, gathering troops, pulling themselves together for the bit at the top.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. I left because I wanted to hone myself before coming back. There was nothing you could get done there that no one else would see. At least here there aren't as many prying eyes.
Trying to train in secret. The young hero returning home. Trying to claim what he can grasp with his own hands. Oh, it's so romantic.
You make me sound like a novel character.
Well.
Looks directly into camera.
Gives a Jim from the office.
I cannot believe that someone as young as you would aspire so earnestly. It is truly inspiring. I'm so excited to see where it takes you. Now, are we ready to start our investigations?
Let's go!
Woo!
Okay, what are you checking out?
I've got appointments, so I'm just like putting out feelers with like giving my appointments through very casual talk. And also prying a little bit into the Heavenly Sword Alliance.
I guess like how do you? Does she like go to someone and be like? Yeah. Does Pale Orchid go to someone and be like, "Do I have appointments?" Like she's just looking like.
You will probably made some.
Yeah.
And there's others who will come back to have appointments with you there. You can go off site.
Yeah, because she didn't make the appointments herself, so she's like, who do I talk to?
Usually you make it with the client.
Okay, so yeah, there was probably a few that were just.
Just wait. They'll be asking after you.
Yeah. Cool. She doesn't think she's confident enough to pry without being the most obvious person on the planet. So she'll probably like have like keep a few appointments, and then like when there's space, she'll like go out and like try to find out more or something.
And how are you trying to
what's a good way to get information?
start some fights in CD bars.
Start some fights in CD bars. Yeah, I guess you would totally go to like that terrible inn that she went to, and try to like ply for information with like the sum of the money she has, or just like be like, hey, do this, and like just like she's totally like never done this before, so she's like, maybe if I try and be like a little bit flirty might work, and then like other times she's just like, yo, tell me the information.
Tell me, punch. Tell me, punch.
Are you still in your fancy clothes?
And then
She totally didn't think to like take them off, or like to change into anything more discreet.
And Lone Sparrow?
Probably just doing the security gig, keeping ears out, because people who are drunk and also in a good mood say things to the air they don't mean to.
Okay. And what kind of things are you doing during the days?
Like during the days, it's probably a balancing act of, checking to see that the Talon branches are okay in the city, trying to keep a pulse on the general, like, powder kegness of things going on, and keeping a general eye out. Probably even talk to, like, not Early Sunrise, what was his name? Eastern Sunrise, because he's the local messenger about people moving into areas they're not supposed to be, or about where this hooded cobra or red eagle might be.
Okay.
I've got a mercenary guild to tap, and I'll tap them because they are a potential source of, people we can fight for coin.
Okay. Yeah, you asked the Eagle Talons, like, we're not quite sure, we'll keep an eye out. We have heard, there's been a couple smaller fires in other parts of the city. As far as we can tell, and there's kind of looks over this thing, as far as we can tell, most of it seems to be on Falling Leaves Society ground. But most of the other ones have been fairly small, not quite as targeted as the one that happened outside of here a couple nights ago. Okay, so we'll end up skipping a day or two here while you guys are kind of going about doing your stuff, looking into what you can find out. And we'll catch on the afternoon of one of the days. So Pale Orchid, you're going back to like the really shitty, you were at a shitty inn on that early day? Yeah, so have you been going back there like a couple times to take
yeah, and if like initially it didn't like turn up much, then she would have like tried there just a little bit more like the next day, and then like tried just like around in the area, just like the shitty, I guess not, it's not like the shitty part of town, but like some of like the more seedier places.
Okay, so you are
totally wearing her big hat to try and hide her face.
Yeah. As you're heading back there one evening, or one afternoon, oh shit, god damn it, I just
Everything
fucked up.
Okay?
No, so I have a drink and I have like a little Diet Coke can.
Oh no!
Adding
Oh, no.
some Coke.
Oh no!
I put some of the
Oh!
stuff, and I forgot that I was using this Coke can for that, so I just poured some more in, and there are some tissues in the drink, so that's getting thrown out.
God!
Give me a second.
God! Yeah, big yikes!
Like, the only reason I noticed is when I poured some more in, it was like not coming out quite as normal. And so there's that moment where I'm like, oh wait, oh shit.
God!
Damn it.
God!
So yeah, that could have been much grosser than it was. I could have taken some drinks
I'm
out.
glad you didn't.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of going back to the inn. There's some people there you've talked to before who, when you come in, have like eyes cast down, not necessarily looking for you. And then there's a shadow in the doorway, and someone's you, girl.
Girl, great. She turns around.
Great.
And looks over.
Okay. So when you turn around, this seems to be the person that Lone Sparrow had described to you earlier.
Yeah, her like eyes thin slightly, and she says, "God, what was his name? Oh, Hooded Cobra." Guessing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you carry the ancient weapon of, and she says your family. He says your family's name.
She before he finishes that, she walks over to him and like walks like outside. If like he because he's in the doorway, like she just basically just like she doesn't want him to finish the sentence, and like obviously she's like, yes, don't fucking talk about it.
He actually kind of moves to block the doorway.
Yeah, she just like frowns up at him and says, "You want to have this conversation here?"
He smiles. He's like, "I was not expecting this to be a conversation. If you wish to walk out of here, give me the blade."
Oh, she's gonna give it, all right. Okay, yeah, she wouldn't converse anymore, and I think a fight's gonna start then. Yay!
Okay, so let's cut from you real quick. So, Lone Sparrow.
Yes.
You've been kind of just checking in some stuff that's been happening regularly. Are you checking any of the places where there's been attacks?
If they're on the route, I'll stick my head in.
Yeah, some not sort of too far. Place you go where there was a home burned on an area that belongs to the Falling Leaves Society, where they sort of protect it. People seem a little bit kind of pissed as you're walking through the streets. You can kind of hear some grumbling in that area that there was a time when the falling leaf could actually protect them, but now they're so taken up with whatever's happening with the Resplendent Phoenix Society that they're not even looking at what's going on in their own backyard. And you see the two salamander twins kind of going towards. There's a Falling Leaves Society smaller house that's there, and as you see them going down one of the streets, and they sort of turn down one of the alleys so that they would come up behind this home that belongs to the Falling Leaves Society.
I'm going to follow them.
Okay. Go to follow them. The two of them, they're coming down the alley. They kind of look out both sides of them, and the southern one, or the summer one, some flames. He brings up some chi and some flames, and circle his fist for a moment. Are you hiding, or are you in sight? In the alley?
There is no hiding to this. This is.
Okay. Yeah, and Winter One sort of looks your ways, like looking back down the alley, and then like slaps the shoulder of his brother, and they sort of turn and look at you. Saw you the other day.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one who stayed inside of the inn, weren't you?
That was the idea.
Showing a strange amount of bravery today. Best if you move on. What do you do?
No, I didn't hear any of that.
No, I didn't hear any of that.
He goes, you're showing a strange amount of bravery today. Best that you move on.
Why is it always when I'm out for a walk, I always get interrupted by these weird moral choices? I could just walk away, or I could just walk away, and then you two burn down another house, and this whole thing gets a little tighter, and then I make a little more money later on when everything explodes. Or I can just stand right here. And honestly, my legs are getting a little tired, so I don't think I'm going anywhere.
Okay, the two of them take them over, they look at each other, and then they leap onto the sides of the two buildings there, and they're making their way towards the rooftop.
Yeah, let's follow, because I am better at movement than they are, probably.
Yep. Yeah, getting up there is not going to be terribly hard. They're each kind of each one is going to be on a different one of the rooftops, sort of nearby. While this is going on, Plum Blossom, you are returning from kind of a building up on a hill, returning sort of back into the town, and you see at a distance the three of these three leap up onto some roofs.
Okay. I'm gonna try and keep distance. Like I see Lone Sparrow's tailing, so I'm going to tail Lone Sparrow, tailing them.
Okay. So the two of them kind of pop up on the rooftops. Summer Salamander is on the one that's closer to the Falling Leaves Society building, and Winter Sparrow stands on the one opposite. It's just an alleyway, so it's not very far at all. About maybe 7 feet difference. And they're both up on top and kind of staring down at you. What is your name?
Mine would be Lone Sparrow's Wake.
You already forgot my name?
Lone Sparrow.
What?
Is Lone Sparrow. It's a shame you have no friends here. You believe you can...
Oh, I'm not there yet, sorry.
You're clearly misunderstanding. It's not that the sparrow is alone. It is that the movement, the wake of one sparrow is enough to cause a storm.
They smile and it's like, we're used to storms, both summer and winter. And the two of them enter positions.
Well, then you best be ready for fall.
Damn!
Oh, yeah! Okay, so, question here. Are we okay with leaving it here so we can start next week on these two different battles?
Yeah.
Because my ears getting to the drippy point, and I'd like to drain it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes. Give each of you 2 destiny.
Okie dokie.
So, just to quickly make sure, it's 2 destiny to up skills, right? Yes.
Yeah. 10 right now is the max. Once you get to 15, it can go up higher. Or once you get to rank 3, it can go to 15.
Or it can be 15 with the +5 from a specialization.
I have 5 destiny.
Nice.
Oh, guys, did you count the 2? Because we didn't say that last week, but we got 2 from last week.
Oh, we did.
Yes.
Oh, I
I
did
did
not.
not count that, so I have 7 destiny.
I have 5. So it only costs 2 to up a skill from 5 to 10.
Yes.
Hello, Wu Wei. Let's get you to 10.
I sure haven't bought any destiny. I haven't bought anything with destiny.
Yeah, you might want to do that. You've got some kung fu shit you can get.
Yeah, I'm probably going to spend it on more kung fu. Because I can just keep getting faster.
You are.
And that'll just get your cultivation up really high really quick.
Because I've got shadow catching, but like I got like the shadow catching still has 2 skills that are just straight movement boosters. I think like one for dodge and one for something else. And Golden Crow, I only have one of the level 5 techniques out of that, and one of them is just nonsensical. Let me think. Let me see if I can find it. Because I love how dumb it is. Yeah, I've got Flight of the Golden Crow and Scattering the Golden Feathers. The next one is either Crow Eclipses the Sun, which gives a +20 bonus to dodge.
Jesus.
And I can boost this technique after the attack is resolved, but before rippling rolls are made. If any part of the attack manages to hit and apply ripples, you can pay 1 chi per ripple to delay their application until the end of the round. Until then, any immediate rippling rolls or other effects, simply ignore them.
So like what Max had.
Basically I'm so fast you can't ripple me. At least until the end.
How much chi does that take?
That's the level 4.
That's the level 4.
The other level 4 is called Supreme Burst of Speed, which is just +20 to speed, the entire round, +5 finesse, +5 footwork.
God! That's dirty!
Oh, my last one, the cap for it is a +25 to strike, and I can shoot, and I can use burn as a minor action with a +10. So I can set my hands on fire.
Jesus Christ!
Jesus Christ! Then you'd be like, where'd all my chi go? Okay, so I might, here in a moment, go so I can lay down and just let it drip.
Should we do entanglements first, or you want to do that at the start of next one?
We just do it at the start of the next one.
So I'll make a note in the thing. We had deeds. Lexa, did you see the I put the
stored
file
thing.
up for a possibility?
Yeah,
for the sword?
I like them a lot.
I like them a lot.
It seems fine.
Okay. Yeah, if there's anything you want to change on that, let me know. Otherwise, we can kind of go with that with this thing for the sword. And we can probably do some of that in the chat and such. I might.
No worries.
Alrighty.
Here in a moment.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah, ideally it should drain and I'll be okay, but this doesn't happen often, thankfully. But I've had ear problems my whole life, and getting tubes again is a little weird as an adult. So.
Alrighty.
Alright. We'll
have a good night.
All later.
Bye.
Yep, you too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.